Welcome to the Sheffield Sunday as Bill sees it meeting. This is a main share meeting, and today is with great pleasure and much gratitude that we welcome Mags BELFAST, who's come to share for about 40 minutes, after which we'll open for general sharing, or if you'd like to ask a question. Thank you, Mags. It's wonderful to have you here. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Andy. Great to see you as always, and thank you so much for your service. I know how much you give to this fellowship of the Spirit, and I am always so grateful to be in your company. And to everybody on the meeting, I extend that. And to Young for asking me to speak at this wonderful meeting, to Tim and Paul for your service. And to Tina, who I know is going to be reading the 10-step promises at the end of the meeting as well, I believe. So I hope I've got that right. So thank you all for your service. My name is Mags, and I am an exceptionally grateful recovered alcoholic. And it's great to be in a room to be able to share this solution that has been genuinely so freely given to me. And I've had a couple of giggles to myself over the last couple of days, trying to select the reading. Young very kindly sent me a little message to say if I could send it through in advance. And I went back and said, I'm reflecting. In actual fact, I couldn't make up my mind. So I had to, dig deep and bring it to my prayer and meditation. And then I got down to 2. And I went back to Young and said, I've got it down to 2, but he needed 1. So is there any chance that I could give him 1 reading? And yesterday I got to the point where, this is so funny, I opened, as Bill sees it, and I just opened the book, and one of the 2 readings that I wanted to, was deciding between, the page fell out. So I was like, right, that'll be the one. So that's inevitably how I made my choice. I do consider that to be a God shot as well, because everything is God. Either God is everything or he's nothing. What is our choice to be? So that's why I ended up going with this reading. And as I've gone through the process of continuing to bring it to prayer meditation, and so many thoughts have been placed into my mind. And I always say this, I never know what I'm going to share. I never remember what I share in these meetings, but I do truly hope that it helps somebody in the room. I don't know what your reason is for being at this meeting. It doesn't matter. But I hope that I can transmit something that will be of help to you or those about you. So, and I've been taught by my sponsor to set aside every single thing I think I know about this program, about the 12 steps, about what's going to keep me sober, in order for me to have a new experience with God. So let's join together in all of that and listen with an open heart and an open mind, and hopefully there'll be something that will drop in somewhere along the line. It might not help you today, but it might just ping into your head at some point in the future when God needs you to have it. So yeah, dividends and mysteries, the payback and the mysteries. When I came into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I genuinely didn't know what this was all about. I didn't realize that you were going to talk to me, and I'm going to jump in from the outset. I didn't know that you guys were going to talk to me about the God of my own understanding. I had no clue that Alcoholics Anonymous was about that. And it's something that my agnostic temperament in the beginning, like it talks about in We Agnostics, wouldn't allow me to let the idea in that there was something else inside me, not outside of me, that could solve my problem, and not just the drink problem, but all my other problems. Now, I might not be making much sense. I hope at some point I will get a flow of my thoughts, but I'll probably jump about the place for a couple of minutes until I can get that into a semblance of order. I think the best thing for me to do is to go through the little reading line by line. when I came into the rooms, you know, I understood the singleness of purpose. I understood, because people did tell me that this was about freedom from alcoholism, freedom from that really normal substance that I have a completely abnormal reaction to. And that the singleness of purpose is about the teaching and the practice of the 12 steps. Not all of the rooms that I went into focused on the singleness of purpose. They didn't focus on the 12 steps or the teaching of that. And that's what I struggled with in the first 18 months, until I found my home group, which deeply immersed me in a program of recovery and the program of action as is outlined in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, to which our fellowship takes its name. And I thought that Alcoholics Anonymous was just about sobriety and just stopping drinking. And I became preoccupied with this obsession that it was just about stopping drinking, and how does that happen, and when is that going to happen, and who's going to tell me how to do it, and who's going to show me how to do it. I became totally and utterly preoccupied with the drink thing. And it was so ridiculous, because like it says in the doctor's opinion, I couldn't see the true from the false. I was drinking to die and drinking to live. I was coming into the rooms and they were telling me that I just needed to keep coming back, and I did keep coming back, but nothing was changing. Nothing was changing. You know, alcohol continued to be my solution. And I do, you know, experience in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous that this single virtue appears to be the sole payback for our fellowship. And notice that in that reading, the fellowship word is capitalized. They're talking about the fellowship of the Spirit. They're talking about the fellowship of alcoholics who have recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body, who have had a spiritual awakening as the result of the steps. It's very, very different from the fellowship that I came into with the lowercase f that's described on page 17 of the book. You know, this friendliness, this camaraderie. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. A beautiful thing. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that fellowship that I first experienced when I came into the rooms. But it's not the only payback of this fellowship of the Spirit. Yes, I have to give this away to get more back, to be able to keep on giving it away to more and more people so that they can recover from this hopeless state of mind and body. Like it tells us in the foreword to the second edition, you know, intensive work one alcoholic with another ensures permanent recovery. And I emphasize this all of the time. It's not only my own personal recovery, it's personal recovery across the world, because when us lots stand on the firing line, like it says in the doctor's opinion, and working with others, when we stand on the firing line, God keeps us unharmed. And in standing on that firing line, it isn't just about my sobriety. This is, and we're not just dried up drunks who have just changed a little bit. It tells us on page 82, when we're in the midst of going through the process around our amends, you know, it tells us that some people think that the only thing that one should do is to stay sober. Oh my goodness me, that couldn't be so far away from the truth about what this program is and what it gives us and what it brings to our life. Yes, the sobriety is so incredibly important. It really is, but it's not the only thing. In actual fact, when doesn't it tell us in working with others as well, this becomes secondary. The other things transcend our sobriety, where we become more useful to other people, where we can pack more and more and more into the stream of life, you know, where we can stay in this present moment, to not regret the past or wish to close the door on it, and that we're not afraid of the future. It gives us so much more. And I find sometimes, I include myself in this, that, you know, I go out and look at all of these other spiritual teachings and they tell us the same. That in this moment, to be able to be present in this moment is one of the most beautiful things in existence that one could possibly have. And I search everywhere else to get it, when in actual fact, in this fellowship of the Spirit, it is here. It is that limitless load. It is where we strike gold. Like it tells us again, and working with others. Isn't it interesting that a lot of the things that I'm talking about are working with others, because that's an essential part of what we do. That ensures my immunity from alcoholism. It ensures my immunity from picking up that first drink. And the more and more I work with others, the further and further and further away I become from the alcohol, the closer I get to the God of my own understanding. Permanent recovery can be attained, but it has to be this most revolutionary change in life and outlook for me as an individual. And how does that happen? By this spiritual awakening that can banish the drink. It removes. The problem has been solved. Like it says on page 17 again. It's gone. Like Tina's going to read in the 10th step promises. We have ceased fighting everything and everyone, even alcohol, even myself. That's the mystery for me. I've ceased fighting myself. How has that happened? What does that actually mean? It's the greatest gift that has ever been given to me. Let's talk about the revolutionary change. On page 25, the first 100 talk about the spiritual experience, and it's one of the most precious paragraphs in the book. They talk about the great fact, the central fact of our lives. I talk about this all the time because it's just such a wonderful piece of literature, but within it, it carries a depth and weight of understanding about what this program is about. This is the payback. But underneath this little paragraph, there's so much mystery. People in the rooms must be thinking, how do I get that? What do I do? But they tell us how to do it. That the great fact, the central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator, Spirit of the universe, Mother Nature, Father of light, it doesn't matter what you call it. What matters is that you have it. That our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in us in a way that is miraculous. That God is doing for me what I cannot do for myself. I am a person who cannot accept and live life on life's terms. That phrase that was branded about the rooms when I first came in, and I didn't even know what it meant. I don't have the ability to live life on life's terms, but I do now. Because I've been given this source of power, of knowledge, of love, of happiness, of direction, of kindness, of compassion. I can add to the list ad infinitum. And a lot of it is a mystery to me. But in following the clear-cut directions in the spiritual way of living, because it is a way of living, it's not a theory. In this spiritual way of living, I have this connection. And Dr. Percy Polyak talks about it on page, I think it's, I'll find it. He's the third doctor in the book, in 43. He's the third doctor in the book. You've got Dr. Silkworth, who tells us about the allergy, and Carl Jung, I'll talk about in a moment, on page 27, page 43. Dr. Percy Polyak talks about the fact that we were hopeless apart from divine help. Divine help meaning that relating to something that's coming from God. You know, I have this connection 24/7, every breath, every blink of my eye, every beat of my heart, I have access to this divine portal where I can constantly upload and download information. Now, I am no scientist and I'm no computer freak. You saw me log on to Zoom here. It took all my will and my life to put into that what I needed to get onto this and access this portal. But I have this connection to this divine portal that is so limitless. It is so changeless. This divine spark that is within me never, ever, ever changes. It is always there. It is always accessible. I've just got to learn how to tap into it. And that's what this program shows me. Page 45, lack of power is my dilemma. Well, where am I to find the power? Well, that's exactly the purpose of this book, of Alcoholics Anonymous. You clear-cut directions set out in masterly detail. And as I work that with the sponsor, turn the pages, all of a sudden, what at first seems like Japanese becomes clear, transparent, and so focused language that I can understand it and then be given the ability to pass it on to other people. The mystery of this for me that I struggled with in the beginning was, who am I going to be if I don't have alcohol? Who am I going to become? Who am I going to lose? Who's going to disappear out of my life? All of the stuff that I've gained through this solution, what's going to happen with it? Who am I going to become? And last night I had the absolute joy and honor and privilege of being at a show with my sister. My younger sister, is a huge part of my recovery. She's the person that found the solution for me and got me into these rooms. And thank God for it. And last night we went, it's a West End musical, there's a big arena tour going on here in the UK. And she got me a ticket to go see this show. And there's that amazing, amazing song, Who Am I? And I sat and I listened to that song with more intention and with more of an open mind and an open heart, because I could hear the words. And that's what I struggled with all my life. Who am I? Who do you want me to be? Because I couldn't work out who I actually was. And what this program, the mystery of what this program has given me, the beautiful mystery that has been revealed, is that I am the divine child of God. Like it says at the bottom of 62, He is the Father, I am the child. I am a perfect child of God, and I am here to play the role that He has assigned me. I'm an agent of God. I work for God. I'm here to do His work well. And it has taken me a period of time to get through that mystery, to find out that answer. There's a couple of dear friends on here who know me well. And recently I've had some struggles, and it doesn't matter what they are. There's been turbulence in my life. And no matter what the turbulence is, whether it be relationships, work, school, health, whatever it might be, the solution is always the same. The thing that I judged you for all along was the thing that you were actually pointing me towards, which was the God of my own understanding. It's always the same solution. But in those struggles, a couple of guys were working in the background, it would appear, and this one person approached me and asked me to be of service. And I had such a closed mind and such a closed heart, because I knew better. I can't do what you're asking me to do because I know the answer. I can't be part of what you want me to be part of because I've been taught that that's not the thing that I need. And this gentleman just kept giving me little nudges, little nods, very, very gently helping me understand, very, very gently enabling me to return to the power, to return to the source. Now, whilst that little gentle nudge was coming, I'm standing in the middle of the boxing ring, ready to do 10 bouts with one of the best boxers in the world. Yet the power greater than myself was sitting in the corner with a little stool and some water and a very crisp, white, clean towel. And the power was saying to me, come and sit down, relax a little bit. I've got refreshments, non-alcoholic, by the way. I've got refreshments, sit here with me and we'll have a little chat about this. Meanwhile, I'm in the center of the ring, fighting with every wrestling satisfaction that I could possibly do, because I can manage this world better. I've got a load of little finite solutions here, and I'm just going to stay where I am. I can do 24 bouts of this fight. all the way, God was just waiting. And in the end, I caused myself so much confusion and pain and determination that I was not going to bend, and that this is the way that it should be done. I had no other option than to accept the spiritual help and go to the power and say, where would you have me be? And when I asked, boom, the answer was given to me in a heartbeat. You work for me. All right, okay. So where would you have me be? Where that guy's been pointing you towards for the last 3.5 weeks. So how about you go and just say yes to the service request? And in saying yes to that service request, my heart has been blown open. My mind has been blown open, and it has reinvigorated my life, my recovery in Alcoholics Anonymous and everywhere else. My finite self, my self-centeredness, driven by 100 forms of fear, was going to keep me separated from a solution that is so invigorating, that is so amazing, that it's taking me to places beyond my wildest dreams. Like it says in the chapter to the wives, that sometimes not sung very highly of chapter, but it should be, because there's so many gems in there too. You know, this experience with this open mind that I was challenged to is taking me 100%, it's taking me towards an undreamed of future. And it's because of people like Young and Andy that I'm having this new incredible experience. It's just the most beautiful thing. But of myself, I thought I knew who I was and where I had to be and where I had to sit and where I had to speak. Yet all along, I was being given these gems of enlightenment through other people to be able to step forward from the bridge of reason into the bridge, over to the dip the toe in the water and get to the shore, you know? I had a lack of willingness, like it talks about here. I understand, of course I understand intellectually that willingness and honesty and an open mind are the essential requirements of my program, and that these are completely and utterly indispensable. You know, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? We live forwards and we learn backwards. I'm more effective because of all of the hindsight that I have. You know, it's the most beautiful thing. And all of these pieces of darkness that I believe are darkness, that have caused the turbulence, that, you know, these little bitter trials that I have had, all they've been are blessings in disguise. It's been a gift wrapped up in the most beautiful bow that has been presented to me, and all I had to do was open it up. My mind was shut, snapped to these worldly clamours inside me that was going to stop me from having the most wonderful spiritual progression and another spiritual awakening as the result of the steps. And thank God for this fellowship of the Spirit, that there's people that know more than me, little old me, finite little me in Belfast, who knows everything that's going to save the world. You know, because I do this work well. You know, I could enter any quiz on the planet and tell you page numbers and definitions of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, but that's not what this is about. I need people like you around me to remind me. You know, my step 10, 11, and 12. That is the mystery every single day, where the answers then are revealed. You know, I'm clearing down every single day, watching for those things, the selfish, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. I'm clearing those down. I'm watching, I'm asking, I'm turning. I'm filling back up again in 11. And I'm emptying it all out in 12. I'm clearing, I'm filling, I'm emptying every single day. In 10, I live. In 11, I learn. In 12, I grow. And the mysteries that are revealed to be the most beautiful answers because of this practice, this practical experience, this practice, this action all the time, is life-changing. It's life-giving. It's vital. You know, vital meaning, yeah, life-giving. And no matter what I'm watching for in 10, no matter what, whether it's the jealousy or the anger or the absolute rage or just this discombobulated feeling all the time, whilst I'm watching that and feeling that I'm insecure and that I'm not good enough and da 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 da, whatever my mind is trying to get me to think, you know, when I drop into that consciousness, when I drop into the awareness, ultimately when I drop into my heart, underneath all that, everything is absolutely perfect. It's perfect. Because I'm brought into this moment rather than run into the future to become fulfilled. When in actual fact, in this moment, the abundance is there. Complete and utter abundance is what is underneath all of that. And everything that is rising to the surface in me is rising to the surface to be healed in me. The mystery of why I had so much resentment, the mystery of why I was always so unhappy, the mystery of why I needed to control you has disappeared. It's been taken away. It's been banished. It's been removed, because you are never, ever, ever the problem. No one on this planet can harm me. I am no longer living in the victimhood. It is never about the other person. It is always what is being revealed inside me that needs to change, that needs to alter, that needs to shift, that needs to serve, to be more useful, to play the role that he assigns. You know, this pain is a gift. I don't always like saying that, but it is, you know, and ultimately I cause the pain by myself. God's asking me to sit in the little stool in the corner and I'm fighting. You know, I'm going to, even when the bell rings, I'm still fighting. It doesn't have to be like that, but I have to be reminded of it every single day in this practice. The enlightenment comes with the practice. I don't know how much longer I have left, Young, so just keep guiding me on that one too. I don't want to overrun. See, the thing for me is that I always wanted the control. I always wanted the control because that's what I thought kept me safe. When in actual fact, all the control gave me was more and more anxiety. And I had to keep picking up and picking up to get the sense of ease and comfort that I experienced from picking up that first drink. But that sense was only ever a sense. It was never real. But what I have now is real. The great reality deep down inside every single man, woman, and child is there. In the last analysis, it is only there that it may be found. And isn't that the beautiful gift? To be able to be connected to something that I never knew was part of this program, that I always thought was pointless and futile, and to be able to use it in a way that enables more people to experience it is a miracle of healing. I love that line in the last page of We Agnostics. You know, when we drew near to him, he disclosed himself to us. What is this but a miracle of healing? And I know that that word miracle gets thrown about a lot these days, but that's what this program of recovery actually is. Who knew that we were going to come in to be faced with rooms of miracles every single day? You know, the newcomer coming into the room. The meetings are where they come to find the fellowship that they wish to seek. But once they get that book in their hand and are working the steps with a sponsor, they're no longer the newcomer. They have already been presented with the tools to carry the solution. Once we get that book in our hands and start opening it and turning the pages and letting the book do the work, everything starts to change. The mysteries that are going on in my life right now are just so exciting. The reality of it is, I have no clue. Like, I literally have no clue where I'm going, what I'm doing, who I'm going to be with, who's going to be on this journey with me, who's not going to be on this journey with me. And you know what? It's pure and utter bliss. Now, had you spoke to me 4 weeks ago, you wouldn't have heard that reaction, because I was still in the center of the ring, fighting with all my might, clinging on to the things that were objectionable. And I had to make that decision again. God, you have to take all of me. I mean, every single last fiber of my being, every molecule that exists in me, please take it, all of it, good and bad, because I am messing up big time. And there's nothing to mess up. I am just terrified of where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing, who I'm going to be with, who's not going to be in my life, who is going to be in my life, all of the external factors. Yet, the calmest, most giving, limitless, changeless power was inside me all along. And I've had an experience recently where I've been able just to say, do you know what? Let's get honest here. The willingness, the honesty, and the open-mindedness. Let's be honest here. Let's have an adult conversation here. Let's not just read between the lines with each other, because that's not what this program is about. My life is not about reading between the lines of this big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not about reading between the lines of what I think you might be saying in the correspondence that you're having with me, or what you might be saying to me, but not really saying to me in the conversation. Let's open our hearts here. Let's open our mind. Let's have an honest conversation here, because clearly I'm disturbing you. Why can't you tell me that? What is that? What can I do to stop that disturbance? Let me go away. Let me leave you in peace. You be you, and I'll be me. And the ability now in my life to let people come in, with no other motives, just let them come in. And if they wish to stay, just let them stay. And if they wish to go, just let them go. I've never been able to do that in my life. It has been a mystery to me all my life. And it has taken my alcoholism to get me to the point of absolute and utter freedom from the bondage of myself. And I never knew in a gazillion years when I first entered the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous that that was the gift that you guys were giving to me. Most definitely God is doing for me what I cannot do for myself. And the dividend and the payback that I give to this fellowship is to rock up, to show up, to be of service. All my life it was about trying to impress people with what I knew, what I had, what I was going to get, to try to impress you for you to love me, to get the most difficult person in the room to love me. That was my aim. An incredible feat that was never going to be able to be achieved. And with the grace of God, I've been able to pick up my bed and walk again. And with every single twist of character over the last couple of weeks being revealed, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past has been raised to the surface one more time. And lo and behold, I can look the world in the eye. Lo and behold, I know where God would have me do his work. It's not necessarily where I want it to be, but I know where he would have me be. So I think I'll close on that one, just to say thank you so much to Young and all of the team here. Bill sees it. It's a remarkable meeting. It's immersed in the solution. And, just one little thing that whilst I was deciding which reading to to go with this week. It's incredible, isn't it, that Bill W. gave everything so painstaking about the work that he did, that he wrote these letters, he wrote these articles in the Grapevine magazine. He took the time to put everything into the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. He wrote the 12 and 12 and don't care about anybody's opinion on that, but all of the literature that these people put their time, effort, energy, love, and the divine intervention into. It would be remiss of us not to carry this message. It would be remiss of us to rest on our laurels. It would be remiss of us not to take our AA pledge, our pledge of responsibility so seriously. When anybody reaches out the hand for help, I am responsible. So thank you so much for your kindness and your love. I love every single one of you, and thank you for today.